Fame, glamour, success. But behind these, anorexia, depression, and failure in love. I sought recognition. I wanted to be on TV, in the media. I wanted to be recognized for my body, for my face, for the talent that I believed I had. So I began this grand search. It really was a tireless search. I subjected my body to fit the standards required at the time. I started to develop anorexia so that my body will fit into those measurements that were required by the modeling agencies. Taking part in the various contests led me to take part in a Miss Brazil contest. I went to an event where I'd been invited to be a judge, and there was a queue for my autograph. People wanted my picture. They wanted to be beside me, to say that they had been with me. However, nobody had any idea of the emptiness I felt inside. The depression was so strong that I would hit myself. I had a panic syndrome, and I was scared to walk the streets alone. However, I had to hide behind that cover. That mask, that makeup that was not only external, just so that I could be with people. And achieved what I had most wanted. I took part in a very rigorous selection process. I was invited to take a second test. This was not only to be managed by that agency as a model, but to take part in a TV show, which was very popular at the time. It was very well known around the country. Despite everything that surrounded me, even with the sudden fame I acquired from being accepted on that show, depression accompanied me. The happy face, the joy I had to display, was because it was the spirit of the show. It was not real. That was a character. I had sought for things, people, fame, so I started to seek for relationships too. This was when I started to get even more frustrated than I already was. I met people and would start relationships with people of different ages. I would go to parties and places to get involved with people I'd just met, until I started to also date people who were already committed. Someone was already in another relationship, about to get married, and I became his mistress. I was very frustrated. I then sought mysticism to obtain the results I wanted in my love life. I did rituals. I had consultations. However, it was always the same. Whenever I liked someone, the person would start to lose interest in me. And when a person liked me a lot, I did not feel anything for them. The relationships that didn't work out did me a lot of harm. A lot of harm. The depression I had only worsened. People looked at me and would not understand. They said, "How is it that a pretty girl does not find anyone? She doesn't move forward. Wasn't she on that TV show? Isn't she a model?" I clearly remember one day that I was in my bedroom, and a very clear voice suggested for me to take my own life. It wasn't just a suggestion. It was such a firm voice that I stood up and went to the kitchen to slash my wrists. I remember that I stood up, went to the kitchen, but I couldn't do it. At the time, I'd been receiving many invites from my mum, who was already praying for me in church. She invited me many times and would bring me material from the church, but I hated the universal church. However, because of all the suffering, with all I had inside me, the early stages of cancer were found in my body. I was found to have nodules in my breast. I then accepted her invitation and came to a meeting. Everything was different there, and I had never experienced anything like that. The other religions I had practiced did not give this kind of understanding. I had never been in a place where I felt such peace. So I continued to attend the meetings. Straight away, I was healed from the cancer that the doctors had diagnosed. The exams showed that I was cleared of this. However, I still had pride and arrogance inside me. I knew what I had to do, but I didn't do it. I didn't obey. From the several relationships I had, I still was involved with someone, and I didn't want to part ways with him. I didn't want to. I liked it. Therefore, I resisted for a long time, until a day when the word came inside me. I shall never forget that day, when that word was given to me. I then understood what I had to do. I clearly understood. When the meeting was over, I went down into the water and got baptized. I then phoned and ended things with that person I was dating. I said that I no longer wanted a relationship and that I had made my choice. I was no longer interested in what people thought, only with what I had to do for God, so that He would accept me as His child. Then came the campaign. During the campaign, I clearly understood I had to leave myself at the altar. I did what I needed to do. I presented my monetary sacrifice, my physical sacrifice, but above all, I bared myself. I lived in revolt from the day I was baptized in water, when I surrendered and learned about all the things I had to leave behind. I saw people around me receiving the Holy Spirit, but this was not happening for me. So I became revolted about that. I couldn't accept that. I didn't accept being in the church and this not happening. When I was in the world and did what I did in search for fame, I gave all that I had. I gave my life. The campaign was the peak of the sacrifice I did for God. In that moment, I bared my soul to God. I said, "My God, I am nothing. I don't want anything or anybody. I don't want relationships. I am not here to seek fame. I am not here to ask for anything. I only want you inside me. You are everything to me. I cannot walk alone without you." Then the Holy Spirit came. He came and filled me with an assurance that I'd never had, with such power, peace, joy. I felt like giving all of that to my neighbor, not only to speak about it, but I desired to place all of this inside someone else. I desired to take this from within and place it inside someone else and say, "Look, this is how you can be happy." I then went on to look after the second most important area, which is my love life. By taking part in the love therapy seminars, I rebuilt myself from within. Previously, I had devalued myself as a woman. I celebrated physical beauty, not caring about the more important one, the inner beauty. After some time, from learning and practicing the teachings, I met my husband, with whom I have now been married for 13 years. We have been together for 15 years. I can say today that I make him happy and he makes me happy, because we were first whole and happy people who did not have any hurt within. We have a blessed financial life. I can say that we are blessed and happy in every area. The other areas only came together after the most important one existed first, which was my inner transformation and the baptism in the Holy Spirit, which I fight to maintain every day. It is this communion with God that makes me, that allows me to be truly happy.